dying, and it's time for Democrats to step up and save it. What OJ will do, and to ensure us to be first in this debate, is we're going to paint you a clear picture of what America looks like, what current Democrats looks like, and why, in the absence of the current non-functioning, useless, non-actionable moderate Democrats, we are going to finally win. The ideas I'm going to talk this week about three things. One, I'm going to describe to you what America is like in the landscape of voters and what are the issues that they care about. I hope everyone agrees so we can have a clear debate. Second, what makes Democrats fail? What are exactly the failures of Kamala and also to some extent Biden, and why it makes us lose to Trump again? But lastly, what then is the kind of politician that we would want to pursue and why it will be effective to ensure the winning election? So number one, right? What are the issues that Americans care about? Three things. One, I think America is on the brink of inflation. This is due to lots of people are currently fearing the disappearance of the middle class in terms of the American income in terms of people, right? This is because lots of people are worried about the increased hike in prices that comes due to lots of different things, right? The trade war with China, the lack of supply in other warring states, the oil that happens in Russia, whatever. What I'm trying to say here is that voters don't care why the price increase. What they are afraid of is that the increasing price that happens now impacts how they are feeding their children, impacts the level of income they can distribute to those things. That's why a lot of politicians that, by the way, are Democrats, all won in their Senate and Congress elections in states, in swing states. This looks like Rashida Tlaib, for example, who even if she outwardly says that she disapproves of Israel, she still is elected in a very comfortable margin because her economic policies that helps her to win in those swing states are seen to still be good for the people because they're the things that they care about later. Second, America is in a state, Americans are in a state of debt. Not only are prices higher, but what's on their mind currently is there are lots of debts that they need to take care of. This looks like the fact that housing is not, even if they're able to afford it, they need to constantly be in huge amount of debt that pushes their everyday experience to be in constant anxiety. The idea of loan debts for university, for example, then pushes individuals to most likely be unable to, for example, afford other things because they have to pay those debts. So the alleviation of that debt will actually cure a lot of anxiety that average individuals would most likely face. But lastly, and I think this is most important, politically, people are losing trust in the two-party system due to the indifference of policies that manifest economically in current Democrats and Republicans. You might still say there are differences, right, in terms of how they do socially. We agree. Maybe socially, current Democrats might be leaning more to the left than right wing. But the idea that you need to take into account, and I think also opposition needs to agree, is that discussions on economic policies are still empowering corporate. This looks like even if tax breaks are created for individuals on the ground, are less likely going to be as beneficial as if on a government we go with farm-like policies that are more likely to give more tax breaks to individuals on the ground. Before I move on, closing.
When do you think Democrats will announce and declare their candidate on your side?
Usually in primary, the first primary for elections like top level happens maybe like 2 years before, in which we will have lots of different people to come and then vote, right? And then what the difference would be that we're going to endorse individuals who are going to most likely be leftists. I mean, this is technical, but the idea would just be that in the primary, we're going to invest more in individuals who are going to more likely to be left-leaning. What the last idea is that I want you to know that 15 million people are lost in the popular vote when they're voting for Kamala as they did in Biden. I'm going to explain to you why then is that happening, right? So, why did Democrats lose? Two reasons, right? One, the reason why Kamala lost both the popular electoral vote as opposed to Hillary who only lost the electoral vote is because Kamala ran on a centrist ticket that disappoints leftists. This is because what Biden promised during his 2020 elections was a lot of left-leaning policies that are actually good and directly impacting to individuals on the ground. Student loan forgiveness, COVID debt relief, things that are inherently leftist even though he didn't frame it as such. I don't care if the people on the ground see this as a left-leaning policy or not. What we're talking about is the policies that we have created are more likely going to be left-leaning anyways and therefore impacting the working class people, right? If government wants to say, or government institution wants to say, oh, but left-leaning policies inherently would be associated with communist communism or unpopular, we can just frame that, right, to be more left-leaning at the end of the day, to still be impacting working class. But regardless, the disappointment that individuals feel towards Kamala is palpable in the level of voting turnout that comes, especially in swing states like Georgia, that was previously dominated by the increase of black voters that was disappointed by the lack of action that Kamala is insisting on ensuring that they are having affirmative action and lots of economical benefits directed towards those counties. Second, I think it's important to also note the soft stance that Kamala has on war. In this regard, that the fact that we are not even on the Palestinian and Israel issue, it's the fact that people are disappointed that she is siding with the big military industrial complex that are more likely than not benefited by the fact that they constantly have to drop war. What I'm trying to say here is the constant alliance that we currently have with our existing donors, who comes from these particular places as well, are noted by minority voters who are now shifted to those states. But second, it allows for them to have more power towards what kind of policy to be created, which this allows us from having access to those states. What then is the kind of policy that we want, right? We are going to speak directly to the we are going to change by talking about two things. One, progressive economic policies are not going to be loan forgiveness, free healthcare, housing subsidy, but we're going to be anti-war. In this case, we're going to more likely move from big corporate, right? But second, the angle of discussion in social politics would still more likely remain the same. LGBT friendly, but distancing ourselves from discussion, they are more likely to be corporate. But then how then will we win, right? With all of those contexts. One, speaking directly to leftists. In this case, to moderates. In this case, we're going to say that we are distancing ourselves from the big corporate that previously haunted you, that prevents you from having all of those access, because now finally someone is on your side. The idea is that now people are talking about issues that are so close to them and matters. Economical, debt relief, taking away the anxiety of the everyday experience that you have. This also means that secondly, we're going to make sure that you have a clear enemy to focus on. In this case, big corporate. Previously, Trump won because they have immigrants, right? But now on our side, we'll pinpoint all of the harm to corporate once we are able to dissuade ourselves from the fact that we have to lean constantly towards corporation donors from locals.